Well, well. Well. Welcome back to day 4, I suppose, of the, the Bones Diary, I guess. uh, Welcome back, everyone. Um, Again, I don't really intend on having a whole wide audience for this, but I still like to do it either way because it's kind of good to just get the thoughts out. Maybe someone out there may relate, maybe someone may not. Who knows? But it is very fun to, I guess, commit to something. Because it's different. It's just a different appeal to it, and I'd rather just kind of do this and just have it out there, and hopefully someone can relate, someone can understand, appreciate it. Rather than just kind of write it all in a journal and then never look at it again. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather do that and just kind of look, look back into a journal or something. You know what I'm saying? It's just at least there with this, it's just out there. It's out there. Anyone can see it anytime. Anyone can access it anytime. Anyone can play it back and just kind of understand a little bit here and there, or try to understand everything. It's amusing, but with a journal, it's just kind of collecting dust in a room or in a box somewhere, and it's like, what else can you do with it? But otherwise, not too bad. So welcome back. Today's day 4. It's August 12th, around 7 p.m. or so. Quite literally a pleasure talking to everyone here. As always. Nothing really exciting today. Either. It just kind of went along with the motions. Of work and everything. It's kind of it's fun being a surveyor at the same time. It's like fun being a surveyor, but at the same time it gets very exhausting. Like, is it fruitful? Absolutely it is. I think there's a lot of benefits and a lot of cool stuff to it, but at a certain point, you just kind of start losing your mind. You kind of start it starts to become grating a little bit, if that makes sense. um but overall, I mean, it's, still coming along. If anything, while I am complaining about serving being very grating and very kind of annoying here and there, I must say, in all honesty, that I am still grateful. That I have a job, that I have things that I'm doing, that I'm pursuing something altogether. It's grateful. And I know a lot of people out there, they usually don't have a lot of luck, or they may not get what they want right away, or they may not get the job they want right away. And I'm just kind of fortunate enough to be working, while the work itself can be very taxing and very kind of just at times really kind of going all over the place and chaotic natures and everything, right? I'm still fortunate enough to be working either way, and that's something to consider. But at the same time, when you're kind of working at something, or you're working towards something, you always want to strive to be greater, be above, be higher, like, just go above and beyond of what you can normally do right now, and just excel in your own ways. You know what I'm saying? That being said, while I love being a surveyor, it's just so ridiculous with, as I was saying in the previous installments about, like, the jobs requiring like these many years of experience or whatever, and then on top of that you have all this nonsense about you need to have like 2 years worth of experience with this, or 3 years of that, or you have this degree is particular, you can exchange it for 2 years and then still work a third. It's like, okay, cool. I guess I really love all that for an entry level job. That really just sells the deal. And then for other places, it's just too far away. It's like you're asking me to travel daily to a job site, or to the main section or place that you work at, which is 3 hours away. Like, I can't do it. If I lived in that area, I would, but unfortunately I don't have anyone in that area, nor do I have enough funds to spend on an apartment, or anything like that, because everything's just so expensive. It's it's a cascade of like damned if you do, damned if you don't. You know what I mean? And like in other aspects, also like a one step forward, two steps back sort of thing. Because like, you know, if I stick with my current organization and I go through with them, you know, then it will something pop up? Yes, absolutely, something will pop up. You know, for sure. You know, you can always get a position that opens up that kind of fits your needs, and you're kind of pleased on it. But at the same time, it's just like you gotta then wait, you know, the next 3 months of just, you know, seeing whether you get it or not, because you know it's not for sure, it's not guaranteed. You may get it, you may not get it. You gotta wait 3 months, you know, just for all the processing and everything alone, you know. And it's like, if I was already in the office or, you know, already inside somewhere and I have to wait 3 months, okay, yeah, I can wait, I can do it. You know what I'm saying? But it's like waiting 3 months while being out in the field already. It's just, you know, God, you know, it's ridiculous, because you're still dealing with, you know, all the outside elements of, you know, both, you know, just people driving like crazy, and you know, animals, and you know, the woods, and you know, just it's just a cascade of stuff, you know, all over the place, you know. um but I mean, that's you know, it's just a thing where you gotta like really consider all your options and stuff. And I'll admit, you know, I'll admit, I have considered, you know, switching careers and everything, switching, you know, stuff all about, and going a different route altogether. But how that will pan out, I have no idea for certain. I really don't know. I'm hopeful that it will pan out great, and you know, things can go into something more exquisite. But again, it's like a commitment thing, you know. It's like once you kind of commit to a different alternative path, you gotta really stick with it, you know, from start to finish, and make sure that you go through with it at all costs, because it's both your time, your patience, your money, your whole aspect and livelihood behind the line. You know, you gotta really commit and stay focused through it. And you know, that's not a problem. That's really not a problem. You know, it's just staying strong. It's just really just staying strong, and writing it out. You know. Um, Personally speaking, I don't know what I want to pursue if I do switch careers. I mean, I kind of do. I've been doing some quote unquote window shopping, you know, as to a different career, and all that. But as of what I want to commit towards right now, I have no idea, because part of me is like, you know what, I'll take a year or two break. I'll take a year or two break, just kind of focus in, get an entry level degree, get into the organization, kind of, you know, pop in, and you know, go for a tuition waiver, and then go back to school and keep studying while I'm working. You know, that's one aspect to it. Another aspect to it is just simply going for a slightly less stressful degree, but it's still within the same organization. Going for that and going ham, and you know, there you go. I'm in the organization. And, you know, I have a different career, different job, but that's, you know, paying more, better benefits. You know, inside, not too crazy. You don't have to deal with all the crazy elements and everything. You know, but you know, it's again, you know, a matter of prospects of what you really want to pursue, you know, of what you really want to go for. And other than that, I'll say one thing, you know, it's just whatever you decide, you know, it's just a matter of will, you know, whether you really want to go for it, that's up to you. Whether you really want to commit, that's up to you. If you really want to pay attention, that's also up to you. You know, it's just a matter of will, and staying true to who you are as a person, you know. And for people that are, you know, out there that are, you know, worried about getting jobs, or you know, unsure of what they're doing, if it's the right thing to, you know, for you, all I'm gonna say is, you know, if you're gonna put your time and patience to something, make sure that your heart's along with it. You know, they say it's a true saying though, like if you love what you do for work, you'll never work a day in your life, and it's true. You know, it is a very true statement. Um, for me, I felt that way for a long time doing what I do, but up to more recent times, it's just not felt the same. I guess my heart's not really into it anymore. Do I still want to do something in the same career path? Absolutely, you know, but it's just like I'd rather, at this point, I'd rather just switch to something else than have to wait on something to appear magically, and then have to gamble on whether I'll get it or not. You know what I'm saying? But if you personally have your heart behind what you're studying, or what you're trying to go for, or what you're trying to work for, then you know, that's the magical part. That is absolutely the magical part, and that's fantastic. That's utterly beautifully fantastic, and I wish you all the well in that regard. And whether you're studying for something or going for something else, good luck. Truly good luck, and stay the course. Stay the course, and I hope that it bears you good fruit. I hope it works out beautifully for you. Well, I mean, that's it for now. I realize it's a lot of rambling, but that's it for now. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who's listening out there. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Or whoever listens to it. I just want to say that I hope you have a wonderful day, and that I appreciate you and I love you. Have a beautiful time, and I'll catch you all